Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a pet store. If you think you saw where I was hiding in the intro, leave a comment down below, let me know where you think you saw me. I did a pretty good job. The white concrete grid on the ground represents the amount of space required to make your pet store. Feel free to make this grid in your world, including marking out the starting position if you feel as though this will help you out. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. However, this actually isn't all of them, as we have another chest right here that has a bunch more stuff that we will also need. Please do try and make sure that you can gather as much of these as you possibly can. We will be going over these as we progress through the build. Begin your build by placing a light grey concrete on top of the previously determined starting position. Extend it to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Extend backwards by 1. In the ground, going right, dig a row of 2. 1, 2. Place sea lanterns in there. Dig another row. Place a black concrete. Dig 2 more rows. 1, 2. Place sea lanterns in there. On the end, place a green concrete. And then extend the green concrete forwards by 1 row. Extend this to the right by placing a glass block, glass pane, leaving a gap, and then a pane, glass block, green concrete. Extend the green concrete back, and then extending right of the back green concrete, dig a row of 2 in the ground, place sea lanterns, 1 in the ground, place black concrete, 2 in the ground, place sea lanterns, then place a light grey concrete on the end, extend forwards, then we want to extend the light grey concrete to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we have to extend backwards by 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Extend across the back by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then extend in 1. Then grab your birch planks and place a row of 17 birch planks going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Light grey concrete on the end. Extend 1 row forwards. Extend across to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then extend all the way forwards. So we want to join all the way back to the very start of the build. Perfect. With the outline of the floor complete, we can now work on some of the finer details of the build. So, step 1, we are going to come all the way back to where we very first started. We are going to place, first of all, this might be an idea, let's extend up all of the light grey concrete. Let's extend it all up by an additional row. So this is all of the blocks on the left and all of the blocks on the right side. We're going to extend all of these up, and then, once we have done that, on both the left and right sides of the build, we are going to place a row of 4 birch planks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want to do this on top of both sides of the build where we have the light grey concrete. To reiterate, everywhere that we have the light grey concrete, we are going to stack 4 rows of birch planks on top of it. However, what we will also do is connect these 2 areas that we will end up with together. We want to connect them front to back, simply just using more rows of birch planks, and then on the front and back parts of each side of the pet shop, we want to place 2 birch stairs just underneath the top 2 middle blocks. This is on the front and the back to give the wall a little bit of texture. With the left and right sides built up, we can now work on the front a little bit more. So, on the front of the build, we want to begin by raising up these 2 green concrete areas. We're going to extend them up each by 8 using green concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this one as well. We want to do the exact same thing to this opposite side that we don't have to count out, as we have already done it once already. We want to join it together at the top, and we also want to extend it backwards as well. We're actually going to extend it backwards by 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Extend across, and then join all the way to the front. So we're making a rather large rectangular shape, like this. That's perfect. We'll fill that in a little bit later. We have to make the entrance a little bit more refined, so we'll take the glass blocks and we will extend them up each 2 rows, and by glass blocks I do mean both kinds of glass. I'm also contemplating extending the green out an additional row further to create even further contrast, although I'm not sure that's necessary. But what is necessary is for us to add a row of green concrete above the door, followed by a row of black concrete. We might even add another row of black concrete. Actually, we'll leave it as that. That should be okay. Let's add another row of black concrete. And then we're going to fill this above area in using green concrete like this. Now, this is all ready for a little bit more filling in later. What we now want to do is the areas on the left and right sides where we have the black concrete and the sea lanterns. Well, on top of the black concrete areas, we'll stack rows of 3 polished black stone wall. 1, 2, 3. Black concrete, and then 2 black stone wall. 1, 2. Like this. And then we're going to extend the black concrete out left and right like this. We have a very minor choice to make up here, so I quite like the idea of having glass block up on the top section, and then glass pane in the bottom section, just because it changes things ever so slightly. Like when we take a look at it, like it's very subtle, but it is like a nice interesting visual change, and it's up to you whether you want to achieve that effect. So on this opposite side, 1, 2, 3 wall, and then we'll place a black concrete on top, extend it left and right, couple of black wall on top of it, and I'm once again going for the glass block with glass pane below, because I just like the ever so slight subtle difference. Like, I just think it kind of looks interesting. And now that we have done this on the front of the build, we are now going to come towards the back, and on the back of the build we are first of all going to stack 2 additional rows of birch planks on top of this first initial row of birch planks. That will give us 3 rows in total, just like this, which we then want to add a row of black concrete on top of. And then we want to, starting from these sides, we want to place a row of 2 glass, and then wall extending inwards. However, I would find it easier myself to add all of the glass and then the wall afterwards. So this will slot in between the glass, and once again, because you don't really have a contrast of the pane against the glass block, you might choose to use either on the back. I am sticking with the glass block myself. And what we also want to do is we want to stick some black carpet on top of all of this. So on top of all of this, it just makes a nice little, it kind of just tops off the window section. I really like it. So on both sides, on the front, the back, the left and the right, just like this, that looks really good. And what we can also do whilst we are at this point is we can make the logo on the front of the build, which is a big animal paw print. So this is made. We come to the bottom center of this exposed green concrete row above the black concrete overhang. We extend a smooth quartz block in front of the bottom center block here, and then we place upside down smooth quartz stairs on the sides of it. Stack a row of smooth quartz on top, and then extend the middle block upwards by 1. Place sideways facing smooth quartz stairs on either side. Leave a half a gap above the center block, and then place a solid smooth quartz block. It's not solid, it's 2 slabs on top of each other, but you guys get the point. Then from the lower half of these slabs, we want to leave a gap of 1, and then place a slab on the left and the right, and extend down. Very simple paw print. We will also be making some banners. I think that we are probably going to do that later. There is also something that I did ever so slightly forget. So, we either want to use stone buttons or polished black stone buttons on the doors here. They kind of just look like some sort of door handles. This is meant to be like one of those like glass doors that you don't know whether to push or pull. So I'm thinking, I actually quite like stone. I think stone looks quite good because it contrasts with the black concrete. Hence why we have light grey concrete on these sides here, because it contrasts against the black. You could easily change it to black and you might even like it better. That's something that you may want to try. So now that we have done that, ladies and gentlemen, I've just realised that we have hit a very pivotal point with the outside of the pet store. I didn't realise how far along we were. We've made a huge chunk of this already, so let me show you what we're going to be doing next. So what we have to do is very, very simple. We want to take the green concrete area up at the top of the build and add a couple of rows of green concrete underneath the outside of the top of that shape. This will drop it down to the same roof level as the rest of the build. We then want to fill the top of the roof in using glass, being careful not to place any underneath the green concrete area, as what we will then do once we have filled the surrounding area in is add a glass block to the top of the green concrete area. From there, we simply just want to add a couple of rows of smooth stone directly in front of the pet store, and then I decided to actually leave some grass in front of the windows, and I've added some poppies there. That wasn't part of the original plan, but I like how it looks. We only have a couple more things to do for the outside of our pet store, and here they are. So, step 1, we want to extend the overhang that we have at the front of the build. We want to extend it out a couple of rows. We're going to do that by placing a row of string with black carpet on top of it, and then maybe another actually directly in front. So, string with black carpet to have a couple of rows of black carpet just overhanging. You might think that that's too much, so do feel free to just add 1 if you like, or add 2, or even increase it if you do so wish. We also have to make the dreaded signs. So, we are going to literally make the word pet store. Let's throw a loom down on the ground, open it up, place our first green banner in there, and we are going to chuck some white dye. The first letter is P, that's a vertical row of white on the left side. Put green dye in there, make the lower half of the banner green, put white dye in there, make the middle of the banner white, left to right, vertical row of white on the left side of the banner, horizontal on the top, that's P. Next would be E, so that's a vertical row of white on the left side, horizontal on the top, through the middle, underneath. Next is T, so that's a horizontal row of white across the top, vertical straight down the middle. Next is S, so that's a horizontal row of white on the top, the bottom, and then diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner. Then we would reuse T, so instead we are going to skip straight to O, so that's a vertical row of white on the left, right, horizontal on the top, horizontal on the bottom. Next would be R, so vertical row of white on the left, horizontal on the top, then diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner. Then would be E again, but we already have it. So, I guess we have a pet saw, which sounds gross. Maybe we need to make a vet next. So, pet store, really easy to place. On the left side, we are going to left of this black concrete that coincides with these walls, P, E, T, just hang it straight off the black concrete. And then on the right side here, we'll literally start on the very left of this black concrete, S, T, O, R, E. Perfect. So we have pet store. And that pretty much concludes the entire outside, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. It's now time for us to work our way inside of the pet store, and we are going to begin building the inside. I got lost there for a second. So here's what we're just going to start off with. Every so often I'll just show you guys what sort of materials we're going to be working with, just so you've got a chance to grab one. We've got a lot of stuff throughout this build, so, you know, it's difficult to keep up. Okay, so, first of all, once you have all of those materials, the first thing that we're going to do inside is stick to the left, and behind this row of green concrete here, we are going to dig in the ground 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to dig all the way to the outside wall here, and place light grey concrete inside of this trench that we have dug. I'm realizing it might also be a good idea to grab some birch planks as well, because we want to just fill this wall in a little bit with some light grey concrete. And let's grab the birch planks. We'll just clone it from here and we'll just fill this wall in. And whilst we're at it, ladies and gentlemen, we might actually be able to make use of it over on this side, but this side really isn't. I want this wall smooth. So as we hit the wall, by the way, with the light grey concrete, I then want to extend light grey concrete up all the way up to the ceiling from that end row. Then extend it a couple of rows forwards and we'll just go floor to ceiling, just like this. Then we want to extending across to the right from the outer row of the bottom of this light grey concrete, a shulker box, light grey, shulker box, light grey, shulker box, light grey, and then we want to extend the light grey concrete to this back wall and all the way up to the ceiling as well. So what we then want to do is we just basically want to stack glass on top of these shulker boxes, and we want to extend the light grey concrete, by the way, all the way up to the top of the ceiling. We want to fill the sides of these areas in using sea lanterns, so behind the 2 rows of split light grey concrete we'll fill them in using sea lanterns, and then we're going to add sand to the bottoms of these tanks, just like so. Then these will be filled in with water, but above these will be another set of tanks, so we'll place some shulker boxes, and then on top of the shulker boxes will once again be glass block. And we're leaving this area open a little bit because it's very difficult to fill this in unless we can actually get into the top. So later on we'll ultimately end up destroying this glass, making a tank, sealing it off, and then doing the same thing above. So we'll just leave that as is at the moment. And honestly, what we might even do is place a row of birch stairs across the top of this. So instead of having this top row of light grey concrete as we have, if we cap it off using birch stairs just on the end, underneath the edge of this roof line here, and then we're able to sneak some sea lanterns, cheeky sea lanterns if you will, just behind this, then it helps to keep things nice and bright. And that looks really good. There's something about the area that I really like. And we're going to have a couple of rows of glass block built up, or glass pane actually, it doesn't matter by the way, on the light grey concrete that we have here. And then we're going to dig the inside of this out, and we're going to make it majoritively. We'll fill it in later actually, but we'll dig that area out ready because we will be filling it in with some different stuff. On the other end of these fish tanks over here, we want to extend the corner of this tank. We want to extend it forwards in the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It lines up with the road that we have on the front. Let's grab ourselves the light grey concrete again, and we just want to make a right angle using light grey concrete. So this is actually going to be a turtle enclosure. And once again, we're adding a couple of rows of glass block on top of it also. I'm kind of torn as to whether to just keep this because it will make a larger area for the turtle, so we might just leave it instead of boxing it in. Same sort of thing back here, that it will just make the area a little bit bigger. We'll decide later on, it's actually not too important. So, beyond this, what we now want to do is what should we do here? So, on this side of the build, why don't we make up the left side, as we've kind of like made most of the enclosures here. This will all be dug out also. So, like, all of this grass will be dug out. Mostly replaced with sand. We'll probably have to extend the birch planks down a little bit, but we'll kind of work on each animal pen individually anyway. So on this side of the build, we have to make some more, for a lack of a better term, kind of like displays, pens, whatever you may say. So from behind this green concrete, we dig 1, 2, 3, 4 and place light grey concrete in here. Extend to the left by 2 in the ground, place sea lanterns. On the end, light grey concrete, extend that back towards this wall, extend the end to the left by 2, place sea lanterns in here, then place a light grey concrete row, extend that back to the front, dig another row to extend in left, place sea lanterns in here, and we then want to make the light grey concrete 2 rows high, like this, on the 2 middle rows at the very least, and then we're actually able to place glass all the way along the outside of this, connecting to the entrance, and then glass on top of the sea lanterns to box both of those 2 sections in, and we will be able to have 3 separate kinds of animals in there. Then what we want to do is start working towards the back of the build, and we want to, first of all, we actually have everything. We want to make a rabbit enclosure. I guess there's so many different words, I actually don't know what to call this. The rabbit display? Whatever, where we keep the rabbits. So from the end of the wall here, we want to leave a gap of 2, and then we want to dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes in the ground and place spruce stairs in the ground like this. We then want to extend the spruce stairs to the left 1, 2, like so. And then we're going to have to grab spruce planks, which I didn't anticipate, which is weird. And on the end, we'll place spruce planks, right? And we'll probably just have to dig underneath it as well to connect it to the stairs. The spruce planks then want to extend to this back wall, and the spruce planks also kind of like want to cut this entire area in half, actually. So from floor to ceiling, pretty much. Which is another good point, actually. What we should do is grab the birch planks once more, and just underneath where the birch planks connect, like front to back, like the edge of the roof section here, we're going to place birch stairs and then sea lanterns behind, so just like this. And we want to have the birch stairs with the sea lanterns like so, and we just want to have something which should look like that, which is perfect because it just provides a nice bit of light, and it's a bit of stealthy light as well, which I like. On top of the edge of the rabbit enclosure, and once again, like, we're going to have to clean up the pet store. Like, you'll just see random blocks that don't sort of belong. We'll have to just, like, get those as we see them. And we're going to place a couple of rows of glass. Or, do you know what might be cool? I don't know if this is cool. Glass block. Oh, this might be something to try, actually. Glass block with glass pane around the top of it. I've literally only just thought of this. I don't know why. I kind of like that effect. And then, could we do it... Would it look right everywhere? The only reason I suggest it is because it kind of breaks things up. Does that look better? Question mark. I think that actually kind of... I think I prefer how that looks. I suppose it's a personal thing, though. It's up to you whether you want to do that, but I think that might look a little bit better than the previous. It makes it... I mean, you could even change the colour of the glass as well. You could even change it to, say, more of the opaque white glass pane. But anyway, that's where the rabbits shall live. We then, in the ground, want to extend over a row of spruce stairs from in the ground. This end block here shall have to be turned into birch planks. And all of these two areas are actually going to be grass. This one isn't. This is where we're going to have a dock, so we'll dig that out. We'll have that ready for later. And we want to add some iron fence. So we're going to have a bunch of parrots, just in this back section here. So we're going to pretty much fill iron bars floor to ceiling. And we're going to have to be very careful because they have a habit of escaping. It's almost as if they don't want to be in the pet store, which is crazy. It was one of the happiest places on Earth. Anyway, the birds are going to stay there, which leaves pretty much, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you might notice, like, this is a good chunk of the area actually taken up. We just have, at the very back, we have the area where you would buy your animals. So we're going to grab green concrete, chain, lantern, and just on this back, on the turtle, this is, by the way, we're going to have turtles here. We're going to take this glass block here, and we want to count forwards 1, 2. So we're going to take this, and we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, green concrete extending right, leave a gap, green concrete, extend to this back wall, and extend the last block up, just like this. Then we're going to stick some glass pane just on the right side here, just to kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of looks good. And we want to hang some light from the ceilings as well. So I don't quite know how to do this. So I don't know whether to add another row of green concrete underneath the pre-existing row of green concrete that we kind of like have like this. So like that, right? And then around the edge like this. It might look a little bit better than like having the I think that looks a little bit cleaner. And I want to coincide these lanterns that I'm about to hang with the fish tanks. So you can see where we have the light grey concrete for the fish tanks. Well, I want to hang chains from this particular part of the ceiling coinciding with those light grey concretes. And I guess what we have to do is we want the outer chains to have one chain and one lantern. And we want the center chains to have 2 chains and 1 lantern. So, I don't know. It kind of just adds something, in my opinion. So, We don't have the fish tanks on this side of the build, so we're going to kind of have to look at those over there, and those chains, and copy those. But we want the same thing on both sides, and I think that just looks pretty cool. There we go. It might be a bit too much, I don't know, but I kind of like it. It might be much. I don't know whether I like that anymore. We can always change that later. But anyway, this is a good chunk of the pet store made. We have got to a point in the pet store where it is time for us to start building the individual animal enclosures. So here are the materials that I'm going to grab just to start us off. Please do make sure that you have all of these in your inventory. So, step 1. We are going to kind of work in the order that we kind of built these in. So the first enclosure here, this is where we are going to have a bunch of cats. So we're going to have 3 rows of red wool just at the back here to make it a little bit more homely. We're going to chuck a cauldron over here in the corner, and we're going to fill this area in using oak planks otherwise. We're going to make a couple of like animal looking beds, so these are going to be blue carpet with white carpet next to them. We're going to not cat litter the floor using item frames, and we are also going to make a cat stand, so that's right in the middle at the back here, a couple of oak fence on top of each other. We want to then stick a petrified oak slab? We want to stick an oak sign left and right of this, and then just in front of this to the left, oak fence, petrified oak slab. What's it scared of? And then a sign behind it, and then on the ground just a petrified oak slab again. By the way, it doesn't have to be petrified. I thought these were regular oak slabs. Anyway, inside of here, otherwise, we want to... Let's just get rid of this. We're going to grab some cooked cob because cats would really enjoy that. Stick these in the item frames. Water in the cauldron to act as like a water bowl. And there you go. We'll chuck some cats in there later. And I do mean chuck. Anyway, what we are then going to do is work on the fish tanks a little bit. So we will kind of have to ruin this a little bit first of all. So let's get in here and let's add water to each one of the 3 bottom tanks that we have. So we'll just add water. And then and we are going to have to make these in their entirety because these are going to get sealed up. So pick 3 fish, any 3 fish, it doesn't matter which one, whichever ones you would like, and pick 3 plants. I am going to grab, say, seagrass, horn coral, and sea pickle, why not? So in each one of these, I'm going to place like a seagrass, a coral, and a pickle. And then in each one of these, I'm going to place a different kind of fish, or fishish sort of creature, exotic. And on top of this, we want to place sandstone, like this. And there you go, you have 3 nice little fish tanks, each with an individual fish in there. What we now have to do, I'm realising we'll probably have to destroy even maybe not that much. We have to destroy even further up, and we're going to have to get into the tops of these tanks, so we really are making an entire mess of this, but we want to place glass on top of the shulkers here, and as we can just get in from the very top, we'll just repair these birch stairs. And let's add water. We've got to destroy an extra row back. And let's add water to each one of these tanks. So just like this. And of course, you don't have to place, like, you can place any variation of corals and stuff in here, and it's completely up to you how you want to do it. But let's place some corals, some seagrass in each of these. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I kind of forgot which. Oh, I guess it's quite easy to see which fish. So I'm going to grab the bucket of pufferfish. Tropical again, and let's go with the salmon, and let's place a pufferfish in this one, tropical, salmon, and then let's just seal this up. So I think we'll just seal up the roof. I think we can give them an extra row just above them. I don't think that'll look weird at all. I think it kind of looks weird. So we're going to, I guess we're just going to, there we go. Seal them in properly using an additional row of birch planks, because for some reason it just didn't seem to work as well. So we can't even see them too well, but we know that they're in there, and that's all that matters, so we can just seal up the ceiling like that. Perfect. Lovely display of fish. What we then want to do is come all the way to the back here, and we want to first of all add a couple of rows of sand, just kind of like in the cornerish area here. So we kind of want to add a bit of sand. And the sand kind of wants to extend out, kind of like in a little random way, and we're going to dig in the ground here and we're going to dig an additional row down. Like you can go as far as you like, by the way. Like if you want to have a much varied area here, then you can kind of like keep going and going. You can make it look really cool. So maybe like something like this would be fine. And then we just have to dig out this back area, make it birch. And the idea here is that we want to fill this in using water, like this. And you could even have it so that the water kind of like flows in. Well, I guess we can't now, but maybe we could have made a mini waterfall. Maybe we could have, being the word. So I'm going to grab some kelp, some seagrass, and some sea pickles, and even some vines. So I like the idea of hanging some vines back here, just kind of like on this wall. It kind of just seems to fit the aesthetic. Maybe, I'm pretty sure that these will spread a little bit, but we'll see. And let's just add some kelp in here. I really like kelp. I think kelp looks great. Some seagrass. Some sea pickles kind of like in the lower parts, exposing the fact that we need to add some light grey there. And then that might be okay. Like you can add some tube coral. You can add just some corals around if you like. And we can just kind of like leave that to grow. The kelp will have much better effect in the deeper parts. You could even... Anyway, let's leave it like that. In here as well, we are going to add some turtle eggs, just like this, and I do believe that they may indeed actually hatch into a turtle, I think maybe. I'm pretty sure that happened, unless I dreamt that. I'm pretty sure that happened to me, but anyway, we'll leave them as is, and we'll add the turtle later if we have to. And we're just going to grab some stone stairs and some stone slabs. We're going to make a nice little cave enclosure for our turtles. So leaving a gap of 2 from this back wall, we'll build up a couple of rows of stone like this, and we'll stick maybe we'll stick a stairs on the second stone instead of just what we have, and we'll have an upside down stone stairs kind of like leading towards the back, and we'll just kind of like make a cavey looking area. And we want it to look a little bit varied, so you can kind of like add a little bit of a peak to it, and you can kind of like build these sides out a little bit if you want to as well. And I think that will actually do just nicely. I think that is just fine. And if you wanted to, I mean, maybe you could even add some leaves back here as well. I'm just thinking it might look like. So just build some leaves up back there. And there you have a wonderful enclosure for the turtles. I'm actually quite jealous. It looks great. And that leads us on to the other side, which we have not prepared for. Moving on to the opposite side of the pet store, here are all of the materials that we are going to be using on this side. We will also need some more stuff later, but please do make sure that you have access to all of those blocks. So, first of all, again, kind of continuing on in the order that all of this was built, this is where we will have a dog. So we're going to stick a cauldron in the empty space that we've left here with oak planks all the way around, just like this. We're going to stick an item frame with a bone in here, and I'm just realising that our poor little dog friend doesn't have a bed, so I'm thinking a white carpet with red carpet somewhere in here will be a nice little dog bed, dog bowl, dog bone, dog everything. Let's move on. So this next little enclosure here is going to be for a fox, so I'm going to place some sweet berries in here, bone meal the area a little bit, grow these sweet berries, and I'm kind of hoping for some more flowers, but I realise that it won't actually do that, so maybe we'll place like just a little dandelion in here as well. Nice, very, very simple fox enclosure. Over here, just in the corner, we want to have an ocelot, so I'm thinking we have a little fake tree. Well, it is technically real. It is a man-made tree, a Steve-made tree, if you will, koala-made tree in the corner here, and then we will just kind of like bone meal this to make it a nice cozy little area for an ocelot. So what we could even maybe do is add a little hideaway for the ocelot as well. Maybe we could, I don't know whether he's now going to be able to escape, but maybe like a little trapdoor so that that he can just kind of like hide under if he so chose. Maybe extend it out an additional row. Maybe that's a good idea, maybe that's a bad idea. Who knows? We'll find out shortly. So for the rabbits, we need some of the more sprucey blocks. So spruce trapdoor, spruce stairs, hay bale, yellow carpet, carrot, item frames, and that might do actually. So over here we want to stack a couple of spruce trapdoors in this corner with yellow carpet on top. We're going to stick a spruce stair in front of this, and then we're going to place a hay bale just in the corner here, and we want to stack up some oak trapdoors on these sides like this, with spruce trapdoors on the top, and it kind of just looks like a little hutch for rabbits. And if we have a couple of item frames with whoops on the ground with carrots in them, I think that that will look absolutely perfect. You could even put turnips in there, etc, etc. Maybe even bone meal the area too, I don't know. Maybe we're bone mealing too much. I kind of just want it to look a bit more natural. That might be too much. Anyway, how can we get 2 daisies here and nothing in... Anyway. The birds. The birds. So for the birds, we want to... First of all, we have to get in here. I don't know whether to seal this up a little bit or whether to utilize it. So the idea back here is that I kind of want to make a little... And... I don't know how to... So maybe if we stack some spruce trapdoors here, right? And then we place some oak trapdoors. Well, that's not where I want them. Oak trapdoors kind of like flipped up around like this. I kind of just want to make kind of like, I don't know what the correct term is for this, but like, you know, kind of like just a little like chill box. Like this is where the birds will hang when they're kind of like tired of flying around their little enclosure, and we've got some bedding in the form of carpet for them, like that'd be straw and stuff, and that is where they would fly back to. I don't know if the word coop is appropriate, but you know, that's sort of where it is. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm making a big deal out of nothing. So in the back here, I also want to grab some jungle wood and some jungle leaves, as once again, kind of like, we'd probably get some nice trees in here for the birds to chill out and hang out on. I kind of want to make a bird bath because I like the idea of it, which is basically just going to be a cobblestone wall with a light blue carpet to emulate a bird bath. We're going to chuck an item frame down on the ground, maybe like here, and we'll just place some seeds in here. And then hanging off the wall, we want to have... We're just going to place an end rod, so that's something for the birds to perch on. And we can use pretty much any trapdoor. Maybe we'll use a dark oak trapdoor, like maybe hanging in front of it. And we will place an item frame with pumpkin seeds on top of the trapdoor like this. And that is just kind of like, again, kind of like an additional thing for the birds. And if we bone meal the area a little bit, just to kind of like build it up, I think that that will look really cool. And I think that that's a pretty nice... Is it an aviary that birds hang out? Oh no, maybe it's an aviary, who knows? It's impossible to find out. There's literally no way. And that leaves the cash register, like the place where you would actually purchase your animals. So we're going to grab bookshelves. I don't think we even have enough stuff for this, but we'll grab bookshelves. We'll grab the dark oak trapdoors, light blue glass, tropical fish, heavy weighted pressure plate, item frames, and then smooth quartz stairs, buttons. We need the table, so smithing table and crafting table, but along the back here we'll have a few bookshelves, just kind of like along the back, and we'll add a couple of dark oak trapdoors next to it to look like actual shelves. And then on top of this we'll place a smithing table and a crafting table, and then we'll extend this over to the left and make more shelves using dark oak trapdoors. Above the smithing and crafting table we will have more shelves like this, so just creating a bunch of shelf space. On one of these shelves we'll have a light blue glass with a heavy weighted pressure plate on top of it, item frame in front, and a tropical fish in front of that. Item frames on top of all of these shelves, or maybe, yeah, on top of all of these lower shelves. And we want to place flower pots on top of the surface here, heavy weighted pressure plate, smooth quartz stairs next to it, and then plant pots on top of the upper shelves. And then all of these item frames will have stuff in them. So I don't really have a bunch of stuff for now, but like, for instance, like a dog bone would be good in one of these, and like seeds would be good in one of these. So like stuff to feed the animals. We'll grab all of the other things as we kind of go along, and well, like carrots as well, you know, and like sweet berries for the fox, and all sorts of other stuff. But we just have some more things to grab. So I believe that I have the last materials that we will need to finish our pet store, and here they are. So we have a few things to occupy, some item frames, some flower pots, some stuff to do the floor, and we just have a bunch of spawn eggs. So let's take care of these item frames first of all. So To occupy these last 2 frames, I'm going to have a fishing rod. That could be for fish, or that could be like a cat toy, and a spade, and that could be used for multiple purposes. We have a lot of animals here, and, well, everybody poops. So we're now going to place saplings all inside of these flower pots. Do feel free to change these up if you do so choose. And we now get to do the fun bit. So we are going to place, kind of like in order, all of the animals inside of their different enclosures. So this cat one, we are going to place a couple of cats in here, and surprised that we got 2 of the same, but like 2 or 3 cats will work nicely. All the way over here, we are going to place just maybe 1 or 2 turtles. We'll just start off with 1 turtle, as Donatello seems quite pleased just by himself. See, he loves it. Loves his enclosure. And then we are going to place a wolf in the wolf one, and then a fox in this one, an ocelot in this one. See, the fox loves the berries already. And then if we grab the rabbit and parrot, we can place a couple of rabbits in here. I probably wouldn't place too many of them because it's not too big. And in the parrot one, we're going to have to do this rather carefully. I might even do this a bit more. I might place the parrots over in the back here and then quickly run out and then seal this up. So let's let's go for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, hang on. There we go, perfect. Nice. Excellent. Now, they're all drawn to that corner, which I find mildly concerning. I'm sure that there's a reason for it, but we will leave them. Actually, no, they're all spreading out. Perfect. So that is absolutely excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's gotten a whole lot clouder in here. All we have to do now is replace the floor, which is really, really easy to do. All you have to do to make the floor is rip up all of the remaining grass outside of the enclosures and replace it with a checkered pattern consisting of oak planks and birch planks. This includes behind the counter as well, and once all of that has been done, you will be left with a 100% fully completed pet store. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Once your pet store has a floor and has all of the lovely animals placed exactly where they should be, we have completed the build. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to like and subscribe. Click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you would like to make anything else by me, check out the City Builds playlist. You'll be able to find that easily in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.